It was a showdown between two tennis greats during the men's singles finals at the Wimbledon Championships on Sunday. Novak Djokovic defeated Roger Federer in 5 sets to win his 5th Wimbledon title. Now, with the match clocking in at 4 hours and 57 minutes, it is the longest Wimbledon final of all time. So certainly there was a lot of heightened emotions and a lot of tension. Now, I have here with me Rohit. He's our assistant sports editor to talk more about the match. Hi, Rohit.
Hey, hi, nice to be here.
Right. So what were you feeling and thinking as you were watching the match in real time?
I mean, I think it was a match of growing and terrific emotion, because I think, you didn't know which way it was going to go. And I think that's how you want matches to be sort of going one way, the momentum, and then the other way, and then you're testing both players and they're both trying to, find the best from each other and the best from themselves. And it was a bit edgy because I think there's a lot of emotion involved, and unlike Federer and Nadal, who really get on very well, between Federer and Djokovic, there's a little bit of an edgy relationship. I think possibly because Djokovic has beaten him too many times in big finals. And this is a big chance for Federer, obviously, because he's going to be 38 next month, and he needed to win this because his chances are fewer.
So did Roger said he's going to retire soon? Is that why, or it's just that the time is shorter for him to win his?
No, he's not going to retire. I just think, I think he's going to play as long as he wants to play, and I think people really enjoy him. I mean, he's a big favorite, but I just think that younger guys are eventually going to come up, and I think this game is very physical. It is an incredibly physical game. Federer has a very easy style, and because he has the easy style, he has less injuries, but the fact is you're going to be 38, and that's hard to play at that high level all the time when you're at that age.
Now, during the match, it seemed at some point that most of the crowd, they were cheering for Federer instead of Djokovic. Do you have anything to comment on that?
Okay, so this is not a surprise, but it's something that Djokovic doesn't really like. So I think that the first thing you have to realize is that Federer is really beloved wherever he goes, right? And it's extraordinary. Sometimes, he could be playing people in their own home country and there are more people cheering for him. And I think yesterday almost everybody was for him. And I think Djokovic struggles with that a little bit. I think maybe because Federer and Nadal started off first and had this rivalry, and Federer is this very graceful man, and Nadal is this brilliant, beautiful bull. And they have these personalities, and they are very charismatic, and they're very nice people. And so is Djokovic. And I think people are attracted to them. And then Djokovic comes, and then he's trying to obviously beat these guys, which is his job. But Djokovic is a very efficient player, rather than necessarily a charismatic one. And I think, anyway, with Federer, everybody loves him, and everybody in England loves him, and everybody's cheering for him. And that's very difficult for Djokovic. And I thought he behaved very well and conducted himself well. It's a tough thing to do, because you're not just beating Federer, you're also beating the crowd.
So why are we so attached to these athletes? We don't know them personally, and they're just fighting for maybe their own glory, right?
I think yesterday was a good example that, we look at these people and we admire them. And even I've been doing this for over 30 years. I was astonished yesterday at what they are able to do, at their willingness to keep pushing. And, sport has tremendous tension in it, and I think, okay, let's just look at Federer. I've got so few chances left. I've got to play well. I'm older. My body's going to be hurting. After the Nadal match, he said he was exhausted. But they're still going in it, they'll have a bad game and they'll wipe it away, the disappointment, and, they may be anxious and they'll wipe that away, and they gather their resolve and they gather their courage, and they come again and again at each other, testing each other, throwing ideas at each other. It is the most fantastic thing to watch. It tells you these are things, you think, okay, I know why I admire these people, because they do things that I can't do.
Now, earlier when we were talking, you were saying that there are many different measures for sports, for different sports, and some of them you can't see, it's not quantifiable. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, sure. So I think one of the things is that there are so many statistics in sport today. So if you just look at tennis, they will tell you first serve percentage, second serve percentage, there are aces, there are double faults, there are speed, there's how many kilometers you run. And so those are important things, you break down a game. But really for me, the most important things in sport, and which is why we keep going back to watch sport, are the things you can't measure. It's like there's no number for courage, but courage is important. Grit is important, resolve is important, fitness is important. And some of these things you can't measure. It's just what that person brings out on a particular day. That, I think Djokovic you have to give him tremendous credit. You know, the crowd is against him. Federer was playing better than him all match, and he still won because he just showed a certain nerve and a certain firmness and a certain fortitude. You can't measure those things, but they are beautiful things to see.
Now, one last question before I let you go. Can you sum up the whole match in one word? Yeah, I'm putting you on the spot.
I'm a guy who writes long sentences. For me, one word is difficult. I would say emotional.
Emotional. Well, thank you, Rohit. So that was Rohit, our assistant sports editor, and he will be writing a commentary which will be on straitstimes.com later today. Now, those were our top stories for today. For more news and videos, do head on to straitstimes.com. Once again, I'm Alyssa. Join us again tomorrow, same time, same place.